this is Moresh, and I just wanted to take a moment to explain what we are working on and what our current status is at the Open DAO project. So as you can see on the screen, this is the overall architecture. And obviously it looks complicated. So I'm going to try and simplify it down for you. And I'm also going to place it in context of everything what we are doing. So when we started off, our approach was very simple. We had a fork of Compound. And on one side, we had tokenized real estate. And on the other side, people could lend with stable coins. And that is the OPM. So that works very fine. Now, obviously, the issue with off-chain assets is how do we liquidate? And for that, we created the CashBox. And the explanation for that has been provided in other articles and explainer videos. So I'm not going to discuss that too much over here. But that the CashBox essentially ensures that the system allows real-world assets to be used on-chain in an effective manner. Now, this is all fine, but the issue is real estate is usually requires huge sums of money. So let's say if you require $10 million, then you need $10 million to be lent over here before that money is useful. And also the compound system is fairly complicated. So we always has this, this was phase one. So we always had a plan for phase two for a stable coin, which was backed by tokenized real estate among others. So there will be tokenized real estate. It will go into a minter, and out comes stable coins. Now, how do we plan to go about it, and how and why we are accelerating phase two? Now, phase one, we already ran it in the beta and things worked fine. We tested out the technology, everything works fine. And this was the key piece which we tested out, CashBox and CashBox incentivization. So that all went fine. The CashBox plays a role in the whole phase two as well, because that's is the connection between real world assets and DeFi. So that will always be there. So over here, CashBox. But earlier, our approach was something like this. We start with liquid assets, liquid on-chain assets. Because if we just start with real estate, nobody's gonna, we'll face more resistance. So we have to start with liquid on-chain assets, such as BTC. So we use the REN bridge, convert it to REN BTC. Once it's REN BTC, then our intention earlier was to use a fork of synthetics and then mint a stable coin. What has changed is this portion is going away. So synthetics is going away. And instead of using our own fork contracts of synthetics, we are going to use the UMA protocol. UMA, as you guys might know, is a protocol for creating synthetic assets, which means that we don't have to maintain our own contracts. We can just use their protocol. And that means our security risk for smart contracts is reduced. Separately, they also have a very interesting design, which is the no oracle design and the dispute resolution mechanisms. And also slow settlements. These three things combined together lead to a very safe system. Flash loan attacks are extremely unlikely, and anybody who has been following DeFi in the recent past knows how bad flash loan attacks have been. So UMA, the choice behind UMA was these three things, also not maintaining our own technology, which should increase security, and reduce the risk of us doing a rug pull at all. If we don't have any control our own smart contracts, even on day one, then obviously the chances of us doing a rug pull are extremely low. So we start with on-chain assets such as BTC via the bridge, goes to UMA, out comes a stable coin. Once this is done, we will probably start with other on-chain assets such as Uni, Link, Open. This is the time axis, okay? And this is the liquidity axis. Start with BTC, which is highly liquid, then Uni, then Link, eventually Open. So these are all on-chain assets. We're still using on-chain in this phase. So this is, I would say, phase 2.1. Then eventually we want to start with off-chain assets. Within off-chain assets, we want to focus on assets which already have liquidity. And those are stocks, bonds, commodities. All of these, as you might know, have liquid secondary markets, which are actually far deeper, wider, larger than crypto assets. So these are liquid. This is phase 2.1. And we can deal with them programmatically. We can have APIs connected to the markets. And that way it can be fairly permissionless. So all of them will go into the UMA minter. Out comes the stablecoin. After that, we'll be looking at assets which are a bit illiquid, but small. Examples are invoices, receivables, trades finance, renewable energy certificates, etc., things of those nature. We have a partnership with Centrifuge about this. Same thing goes into UMA. Out comes the stablecoin. So it's very much like a bit like DAI, where you stake Ethereum or WBTC. Even they are planning to do real world assets. So in that sense, we are very similar to DAI, except our focus is going to be primarily on off-chain assets and less on on-chain assets. And that will happen progressively, of course. The final phase of the project is liquid, large, which is real estate. That's when, once you have enough distribution in the project, we can start doing tokenized real world assets, which should be very interesting in terms of what it means for the stability of the coin, as well as global financial impact as well. Now, in terms of tech, it's actually not very hard because UMA is already there. They have a perpetual contract. So it's fairly easy. We already have the Centrifuge already has what they need, stocks and bonds APIs. We have to do some work on making them permissionless, but we have already made progress on that. And we already know how to tokenize real world assets. So the real challenge is building the distribution. And if we start with BTC and liquid assets, then the distribution shouldn't be that challenging. Plus, we now have open tokens on the market, which means that we can use mechanisms such as liquidity mining, etc., to incentivize the building of distribution. So that's it so far for today. I hope you guys continue to be with us. And if you have any questions, please post them on Telegram or Discord. Thanks so much. Bye.